is a civic, social, and economic development-based organization here in Roswell. We are $50 a year, and with that, we think you get the best deal in town for your membership. We have 2 meetings a month, our Town Builders Breakfast, which you're here at right now, and we bring in all kinds of city officials, developers, things like that that talk about what's happening in the city. Then we have an evening mixer that's called our What's Next, and it's all over town. And it's a little bit more relaxed and easygoing. And speaking of, this month, 10/28, we're doing our music and member appreciation event, 10/28 at Okay, all right, we got it. First crisis avoided. And so 10/28 is our next What's Next. We're gonna have a live band, free Variant beer for our members. So be sure to join that in the evening, 6 p.m. at Mojo Vinyl. Now, I want to go ahead and lay the ground rules for today. Not that this is a true debate in any sense of the it's not. But what we've said to the candidates is, we've said there are no personal attacks. If anybody, that was your warning. If there are any personal attacks, you will be asked to leave immediately. The other points are that you get 3 minutes for your personal introduction, and then we'll move to questions. There are 4 questions, 1 per seat. So the mayor's race, all the candidates will get the same question, and each post, they'll get a different question, and each candidate will have an opportunity to answer that. I'm going to go ahead and read the questions, all 4 of them now, so that you can all have some preparation. Then we'll go into introductions, and then we'll go into questions. Cool. All right. Roswell is the first community in Georgia to receive both bike and walk friendly designations, both Rowan's. However, walking and biking is still a challenge and are outright dangerous in many places. What specific plans or ideas do you have to support to increase connectivity and make Roswell more walkable/bikeable? Southern Skillet, question 2. Southern Skillet, Riverwalk, Old Target Shopping Center, Pickle and Social, and until recently, Wells Fargo. There have been so many stalled projects in Roswell. This is after the completion of multiple studies that seem to get shelved or after spending a great deal of money on them. How are you going to make sure that projects actually move forward? Transportation. Some key T-Splosh 1 projects, like Oxbow realignment, have run significantly behind schedule and well over budget. Others, such as Big Creek Parkway, have been significantly altered since citizens voted on it. T-Splosh 2 is on the ballot this November. What's your position on T-Splosh 2 and why? And in your opinion, tell us one specific area where Roswell is a leader regionally and one area where we can improve or are falling behind. Okay? So with that, Amy Gates, Stroud.
Morning, everyone. We're actually, for those of you that come to these a lot, you know this is like the first time we've ever had a speaker. So we're stepping up in the world a little bit. So nice to see everyone. If you are a board member of Roswell Next, can you just raise your hand so people know Michael's out there, Mark Beal, Lindsay, Stephanie's in the back, Adam's in the back. Okay, so these are your folks that, if you get a chance to thank today, we're obviously a bunch of volunteers that try to put these 2 events together every month for everyone. As Lindsay said, the price is low. You get breakfast, you get coffee, sometimes you get beer, although not at the breakfast. So we just hope you enjoy this. We saw some new faces today, so we're glad that new folks are coming out. So Lindsay laid the ground rules. The way we're going to do it, we're going to bring 1 post up at a time. I'll do the introductions and then you'll have your time. Mark is your timekeeper. So, yes, it's a very high-tech system, like flashing lights and things like that. We ask you to respect it. We were very clear on how much time you have, so just respect it. We want everybody to get a chance to talk, and so just 3 minutes for your intros, 2 minutes for your questions. We're going to cram as much in an hour as we can. So we are going to start with the mayor race. So Mayor Lori Henry, if you want to come up, Jason Yao, and where is Kurt Wilson? There he is. Come on up, gang. And we're basically going to do it in alphabetical order, just to be fair. It was either that or draw straws, but alphabetical order seemed to make sense. So I have the pleasure of introducing the mayor, who's the incumbent. So Lori Henry, I'll turn it to you.
Thank you very much, Amy, and it's good to see you all, and I'd like to thank Roswell Next for hosting this event. Any way that we can get people engaged and get them out to vote is a plus for us. Again, my name is Lori Henry. I am your mayor, and I am asking you today to support me and vote for me on or before November 2nd. As we're looking at what we've come out of in the last couple of years, I will tell you that honestly, that I signed up for a lot of things, but I did not sign up for a global pandemic. But we did well with it. The city of Roswell, because we're fiscally conservative, we have been able to weather that storm. We never missed a beat. Your services were provided. Not only were they provided, but they were provided with exceptional quality. So we never had to furlough an employee. We never had to lay off an employee. We were here to serve the citizens of Roswell. We had many people on the front lines, not just our police officers and our firefighters, but we had the folks that were picking up your garbage every day, the folks that were filling the potholes and repairing the leaks. Those folks were out there, they were working, and like I said, we never missed a beat. I feel very fortunate that we live in the city of Roswell. Having said that, what's next, Roswell? And I think that we've got a lot of good things on our horizon. I will be proposing a bond next year because we have been able to retire debt. We have been able to roll back our millage rate to 4.719, which is the lowest that we've seen since 1988. And I've got 1 minute left, so I better talk quickly. And what I would like to say to you is I'm proposing a bond to move forward with public safety, recreation and parks, and we can basically, with a bond, keep in mind, you all decide to tax yourselves. The elected officials do not decide to tax you. So that's a choice that our citizens can make, and I look forward to that next year. Thank you again, and please vote for me on November 2nd.
Thanks, Lori. So I heard a rumor from the back of the room that the mic is a game changer. So for all of you regulars, maybe we'll start doing it all the time. So I know it's always hard to hear in the back. So thank you for everyone that helped get it. So next is for Wilson. I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Roswell Next, for allowing us to be here and for this great place to be at Variant. I'm running for mayor very simply because leadership matters. Leadership is one of the most overused terms in the English lexicon. But the reality is that each one of us recognizes leadership when we come face to face with it. Whether it's our third grade elementary class, whether it's the PTA, whether it's our neighborhood laundromat, whether it is the United States government, whether it's our own Roswell government, whether it is General Electric, whether it's Variant Brewery. Organizations, whether they're a great organization, a good organization, an okay organization, a stagnant organization, or a medium or poor organization, or a failing organization, all have one thing in common. What's the leadership like? And so one of the reasons I decided to run for this office of mayor, to be your leader in this city, is because I believe that the mayor is the foremost person that articulates the vision of the city. I secondly believe that the mayor is the foremost goodwill ambassador to its own citizens, to its own businesses, to its own civic organizations, to its churches, to its mosques, to its synagogues. I believe that the mayor is the foremost ambassador to its sister cities. I also believe that the mayor is the foremost political liaison with your state legislators, your lieutenant governor, your U.S. congressmen, your senators, and with the state agency heads. Why is all that important? because we do have a lot to get done, and I can't wait until January because we are going to get so much done in the city that we're going to move at an incredible pace. And I think that us as citizens are going to be saying, wow, Roswell would become the crown jewel of not only North Fulton, but in 20 years we will become the #1 family community in America because we will have intentional strategies about how we're going to get there. If you listen to my speeches, they're usually 15 to 20 minutes long because there are so many things that we are going to do. But I'll tell you one thing that we're going to do. I'll actually tell you two things. When we become the new mayor and city council in January, the first thing we're going to do as mayor and city council is we're going to sit down and go through all of the incredible plans that have been referenced before. We have incredible plans that we have literally spent millions of dollars as taxpayers on, waiting for us to take action on. Waiting for leadership to say, we need to do this, it's time to do this, let's get it done. And so as a collective body, as your elected representatives, as mayor and city council, we're going to do that in January, and we're going to come to you quickly. And we're going to make things happen at a rapid pace. And I think it's going to be so fun to watch it here in Roswell. My name is Kurt Wilson. I'm running to be your mayor of Roswell, and I can't thank you enough.
Thank you, Kurt. And our last candidate for mayor is Jason Young.
My name is Jason Yowell. I'm running for mayor because I would like to see Roswell become the shining city upon a hill that it once was. This is a city that used to be the aspirational city in North Fulton, the one that other cities wanted to emulate, and we have become the cautionary tale, the butt of jokes because of the dysfunction. Oxbow is emblematic of that dysfunction. When the current incumbents came into office 4 years ago, between the time that they were elected and the time that they took office, I told them all, you need to fire the city attorney and the transportation director or you will never get control of the city. And I have been proved right. In February, the city voted to pay an additional $2.5 million to the owners of the hardware store, in addition to the $3 million they had already paid, in a settlement that was really kind of interesting because the city attorney claimed, well, you know, we breached the contract and it's costing us $83,000 a day and we've got to settle this. I've read that contract. There are no punitive damages, there's no liquidated damages. We could have sued for specific performance, but no, we just gave them another $2.5 million. The mayor commissioned that night, announced that she had commissioned a report to be compiled by a law firm. And that report came out, and basically all the things I've been saying for the last 4 years were verified. Yes, your transportation department is inept, it doesn't know how to design or manage a project. Your city attorney has broken state law on almost every single real estate transaction involved in Oxbow. Last night, the city attorney, and I'm really surprised that he still has a job, was up on the dais pandering to Don Rollator, the attorney who represented the whites and who represents a lot of real estate transactions in the city that most of us would find questionable. It's remarkable. I think that where there's smoke, there's fire, and the real investigation needs to be a criminal investigation, and all the city officials that are involved in Oxbow need to have a forensic accountant go into their personal financial records and see just what goes on, because the money that was spent on Oxbow is unconscionable and so far inexplicable. My name is Jason Yowell. I'm running for mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Jason. So I'm going to have the mayor candidates have a seat, and we're going to invite up post 4. Okay. So this is post 4, for those of you keeping track at home, post 4. Again, we're just going in alphabetical order, so we're going to start with the incumbent, Marie Welsing. Marie?
Good morning, and thank you everyone for coming out today, and thank you Roswell Next and Variant for hosting this morning, this gathering gathering the candidates. First of all, it's been an incredible honor to serve in Roswell City Council during the past 4 years, and to get to know many of you much better and to work with you on helping with some of your issues and problems and ideas and helping bring them to life. It has certainly been an exciting 4 years. We were moving along with some big projects, ready to break ground in the downtown area with the approval for Southern Post and talk about the boutique hotel, and then suddenly there we were in lockdown. I can't tell you how incredibly proud that I am, and we all can be, of our small business community and the residents in Roswell who supported them. And just in the blink of an eye, you know, we had restaurants making lunches and putting food baskets together for those in need. Restaurants shifting to takeout, and businesses completely reinventing their business model. And we had so many restaurants and small businesses who gained national attention for their efforts to recover after the pandemic. So I'm just so incredibly proud of you all. Momentum is on our side now as we emerge from the pandemic. Roswell is a great place to be, and everyone wants to be here. And if you are here on Saturday all day long, you know that that is absolutely true. During my past 4 years, it's been an honor to work on a number of initiatives. First of all was the Historic District Master Plan, which protects the character and of the historic district. And we also recently worked with the DDA on a parking study that the results were returned earlier this year. We continue to work with them on some solutions for parking in the downtown area. We also supported new laws that made it easier to do business during the pandemic, and we're excited about hiring an economic director to help us understand the value of new business and to work with businesses in the city and kind of be that liaison. Going forward, I'm looking forward to being a positive, proactive voice, promoting our quality of life. To me, that means everything that we enjoy every day: our parks, our business, our community, our families, safety, arts and culture, pursuing transportation solutions, and pursuing redevelopment where it belongs, and bringing the right kind of redevelopment to Roswell, and continue to seek out new businesses. I've heard a little bit of talk about shaking up the status quo, and I want to tell you, I've been working to shake up the status quo for the last 4 years, and that's something I look forward to continue doing over the next 4 years, and continuing to work for Roswell and for you. I appreciate and value your vote, and appreciate you placing your trust in me to continue working for you in Roswell City Council in the next 4 years. Thank you.
And next for Post 4 is Peter Vanstrom. Peter?
Thank you, and I am Peter Vanstrom, and I'm excited to be running for Post 4 for City Council. I'm thrilled to be bringing my energy level, my creative initiative, and my leadership skills, along with an ability to cross the aisles in discussions. I think on Planning Commission, if you've ever seen when I'm working with Planning Commission, how we always have extremes when we start conversations, and I'm always proud of the fact that I listen to both sides and I try to bring both sides together as we discuss initiatives that are the best for the city of Roswell. I'm running for City Council because I really do think we can do better. I don't think the status quo is good enough. I don't think all things are rosy in Roswell. I'm concerned in this summer we dropped behind home values behind Alpharetta and behind Johns Creek. Alpharetta's study came out where over July, they increased their home values 24%, Johns Creek 22%, Roswell only 15%. I'm concerned that we're losing business opportunities to Alpharetta, and every door I knock on and talk to the people in the city, they're as frustrated as I am that we've lost something like pickleball. We lose restaurants like the Whiskey Project and the Southern Eatery, and they're all moving up to Roswell. There's some problems here in Roswell that we need to address. We need to restructure our city hall and how we handle business recruitment. Business recruitment is vital to offsetting your 70 to 80% tax burden that you're paying as residents. And we need to work hard to restructure and bring in not only an economic development director, which took 3 years to get voted in, by the way, by the incumbents, but also a city planner who can sit down with the residents in the different areas where we need to create even overlay districts where we can redevelop. I think we're so We need to get refocused on Holcomb Bridge and 400. We need to get refocused on the river corridor and refocused on Holcomb Bridge in Alabama as a new center destination, family-friendly destination for this city. I'm excited to be running for city council. I'm excited to bring creative ideas, and I'm excited to constantly be a person who is going to represent the residents first. Transparency has been lacking in this last 4 years, and we need to make sure that we include the residents in all of these decisions. Mr. Wilson referred to the plans that we have. I call Roswell Plansville. We have so many plans that the residents take the time to initiate. We need to bring them back to the table with the right city hall structure and start moving this city forward. And I can't wait to get started in January, hitting the ground running and making this city better. Thank you very much.
We'll have the folks from Post 4 take a seat, and we'll invite the candidates for Post 5 up, new candidates. So thank you all of you for stepping up and running. So we are going to start again in alphabetical order, and Yolanda Freeman, I believe you're over first. Thank you. Oh no, I go first. That was my fault. Clearly I didn't do my alphabet this morning. I didn't have a chance to have much coffee. So since we're going in alphabetical order, we're going to start with the right person, which is Michael Dosser. Michael.
Thank you so much. That's great. You could go first if you want.
I know. Thank you, yeah.
Well, good morning. My name's Michael Del Chero. I'll spare you the last name on pronunciation. You can call me Michael D. That's been my nickname since growing up here in Roswell. I'll first say, everyone's saying, why are you running? What do you want to do? And, I grew up here. Roswell's a great town. And I'm looking to make it even greater. Yeah, there's things that we can continually focus on, Any organization, private, public, can do that. My 4 focus areas, I want to keep our city safe. The police is very important to me. My older brother was in police outside Chicago. And we need to continually invest in our officers. That goes through training and resources. The second thing I want to focus on is to keep the traffic moving. I think when we talk about traffic, I like to blend in there also, like parking. To make sure we get the highest and best use of our T-SPLOST dollars, I support T-SPLOST 2 to reduce any sort of gridlock and to increase traffic flow. And I'll be happy to answer more questions about that later on during Q&A. The third thing I want to focus on is our parks. I used to grow up here and play in the parks. Waller Park, for example, at the rec over there. Wasn't the best basketball player, but dreams are big. Michael Jordan is my idol. But we have the gold standard, both state and nationally, with our parks. And I want to continue and build upon that. And keeping growth sensible for Roswell, that is something I'm really, really keen on as well. I think that'll come up in the questions. Continue to preservation of our historic charm of Roswell. We all had our reasons about why we have moved here. That's one of my biggest questions on this campaign. Why did you move here? What do you think about Roswell? We can continue to preserve our historic charm. We have a fabulous, newly minted historic district master plan. So I'm here to look at fabulous ideas in terms to continue and building upon our growth, to address our empty shopping centers and to get rid of blight. I will finish with this. I got the little reminder here. I am uniquely qualified and prepared to serve Roswell. One, real quick, I grew up here, went to Roswell High School, once a Hornet, always a Hornet, and I raised my boys here as well, and they're graduating the public school system. Number 2, my business background. I own a Roswell-based business, started here with my wife, Marinelli, who's here this morning. And we wanted to make Roswell our home for our business. One of my biggest focus areas is building high-performance teams. I work with major companies like Microsoft and Accenture. It comes down to people and building a culture, and that goes public and private sectors. I can bring that to the table with strategic planning and vision casting. And the last thing is my service. I continually give to Roswell, and I stream regularly the city council meetings. Thank you.
Thanks, Michael. Next, Yolanda Freeman.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Yolanda Freeman. I'm running for City Council Post 5. And I'm a single mother. I have 3 children, 2 adult, and 1 16-year-old at Centennial High School. I'm just passionate about, I love Roswell. I believe in Roswell. My daughter's 16, and she asked me one day, Mom, I play varsity basketball. I want to go to college. I want to get a degree. But I love doing hair. I'm the only basketball player that does my hair every day for the game, different styles. What are the chances of me having a business in Roswell? And it just hurt my heart to know that, to tell her, the chances are not that well, but what can we do about it? So I decided to run. I want to help young entrepreneurs have businesses. I want to help anybody, just have unity. I want diversity in our community. I think once we get united, then we can make the changes that we need. But when there's division and when there's issues going on, it keeps us from getting things done in a proper manner. I also want to form a Renters for Roswell group where the renters can navigate things on their own, and then they can also collaborate with the homeowner so we can find a common bond to different things that we need to do together to promote unity within our council. I want to have ambassadors from colleges and young kids come to City Council, feel comfortable asking their needs, what they want to make our city great, because this is a great city. Our community is awesome. I want to have mentorship at the churches. I want people to different faiths. We can all fellowship together. We can have choirs, visit different churches, get to know one another. If you can, I challenge you, get to know someone different than yourself that's not in your group one day a week. You'd be amazed how enlightening your life would be. And those are some of the changes that I want to bring to Roswell. If you vote for me, I promise you that things will happen because I just can't sit still anymore and be quiet. I work in the kitchen and cafeteria serving our kids every day, and I just want to make a change, and I'm dedicated. Yesterday, I went to vote. I cast my vote at East Roswell Library. I was so upset to know that by me working every election, that they didn't even have the proper materials on the wall. I didn't even see my name or any of my candidates' name. They had Atlanta, City of Atlanta, Kasim, and all of the other people up there. So I right away told her, I said, I can't stay here long because my name's on the ballot, but you need to set this election up right. It's 9:30 and my sign, the sample ballot isn't up. Okay, thank you. So I immediately called my old supervisor. I said, the information is not right. You guys need to get down there and get our names on the wall right away. She didn't do anything, so I called the next person and the next person and the next person. Finally, I stayed on the line for about 45 minutes and they said, Yolanda, the lady says she's changing it now, she's getting the right ballot up. I said, because my name is on it, and we have other 2 great candidate names, and everybody in Roswell needs to know who to vote for before they get into the voting booth. I said, it's not right. So I just started fighting yesterday, and I said, if this is what it's gonna be like on City Council, this is the job for me, because I enjoyed waiting on that line for 45 minutes. I enjoyed it, first time ever.
If I can get through the morning without tripping on the cord, it's a good day. Next candidate, last candidate that will have to do an elevator pitch is Will Northland.
Good morning. Thanks for having me. I'm Will Northland. I'm running for City Council Post 5. I've always had a passion for civic duty. I made the decision to run because I want to be the voice for Roswell residents and what's important to moving Roswell forward. I have financial experience as a state bank examiner, an auditor, which is a benefit to the council as well as the Roswell residents to whom we are accountable. My experience will help ensure our city projects are on budget, stay within scope, and are completed on time. I also have volunteered for many years in my children's athletic teams through Roswell Rec, as well as serving in several leadership positions through my son's Cub Scout unit. I'm a proud Eagle Scout. I will nurture my son's ambitions of reaching his goal as he completes his scouting journey. I learned through this participation the benefits of community engagement. After speaking with many residents, I want to be sure this council represents and makes the best decisions that reflect the interest of their voice. I will only support responsible development, limiting new high-density projects which affect our already congested streets. Let's make use of the resources we already have by finding ways to make existing high-density complexes more accessible, more livable, versus building new ones. We need to bridge the gap between East Roswell and West Roswell, as East Roswell needs more destinations for shopping, restaurants, and entertainment. I will lobby and deliver greater investments in our Parks and Recreation Department. Our parks are world-class and the envy of most cities in the metro Atlanta area, but we need to invest, maintain, and further upgrade the parks and their facilities. I'll support our first responders and other public service officers through acknowledging and prioritizing their value by increasing their compensation. I'll focus on restoring transparency, civility, and accountability within the council for us to be successful, as we have to work together. I'm running because I want to help our community. I have no other hidden agenda. I promise to represent the interest of Roswell's assets as its people. Inclusivity and diversity is everyone here. We all have different views and beliefs, but we want what's best for Roswell. We may not agree on how to get that done, but I hope we can put our differences aside and represent what's best for our neighbors, our friends, and our fellow residents and taxpayers. As a Scout leader, there's a set of principles we talk about living each day that I believe is relevant even in the context of this morning. The principles are reflected of the Scout Law, which include: a Scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. And your council representatives should be as well. Thank you.
All right, so we got one more post left. Post 6. Here we're going to start questions with you all, so you don't have to sit back down. So, but we'll do your elevator pitch first. And Lee Hills, you're first.
Thank you and good morning. Thank you to Variant and to Roswell Next for hosting us this morning. I've lived in Roswell for nearly 2 decades, and I've spent my time and invested my time and talent in serving the Roswell community as an HOA board member for 6 years and numerous charitable nonprofits. I've also led many volunteer organizations such as Mountain Park Elementary PTA president and Roswell High School PTSA co-president for 3 years, and that both of these schools my children attended. Talking to so many of you that call Roswell home, your concerns are my concerns. Moving forward, it is vital that we're all mindful about how we develop our commercial corridors and approach our zoning to protect our neighborhoods. And everyone loves our parks, so much so that people come from all over to enjoy them. Regarding parks and commercial corridors, I'd like to talk with you about the tremendous opportunities we have to grow Roswell in so many smart ways. The last time our parks won a gold medal designation was 2017, and I'd like to see that happen again. While we rely upon our commercial corridors to serve us today, and we appreciate the businesses that are here currently, we must pivot to intentionally and proactively pursue business and destination options that our residents and visitors demand. We spend way too much time on the road going to other cities when we have the opportunity to have exactly what we need right here in Roswell. One way we should improve safety and traffic flow is to bring solutions in traffic design and construction that serves Roswell residents first and builds community wealth. Streets build community wealth versus roads that just serve Cobb County commuters. Instead of designing roads that create cut-throughs in our most historic districts and areas and neighborhoods, let's build streets that enhance a sense of community and wealth for our homeowners and businesses. A perfect example is building roads that take away from our sense of community are the 2 cut-throughs recently designed and dug into our most historic mill village. This Oxbow project also funnels commuters down our most prized historic Main Street from the 1790s, Mimosa Boulevard, all the way to Highway 20. An example of building community wealth and a sense of place by using streets is Highway 9, as it makes its way through the downtown Alpharetta. The street is naturally traffic calming, provides crosswalks that safely move people from one side of the highway to the other, has ample sidewalks, and is aesthetically beautiful with street planters. I believe we can do better. Paramount to me is the transparency and fiscal responsibilities a council member owes to each one of you, and I do not take that lightly. Implementing critical oversight is imperative to prevent misuse of your hard-earned dollars, and I intend to make sure this happens. We as council members are accountable to you, and we work for you. I will not forget that every dollar the city spends comes straight out of your pocket. No one will work harder than I will. I look forward to being your next city council member.
Thanks, Lee. So we'll finish the elevator pitches on our last incumbent, Matt Judy.
Thank you. Thank you, Roswell Next, Variant Brewery, everybody that came out this morning. I know it's early, That alarm went off at about 6:15 this morning. I had to get my son to Roswell North Elementary and on up here after a late night at City Hall. So I know everybody's busy. Thank you for coming out this morning. My name's Matt Judy. I'm running for re-election to Roswell City Council. I was born and raised here in Roswell. Went to Roswell North when it was North Roswell, Crab Apple Middle School, and Roswell High School. From there I went to Georgia Tech for undergrad, studying management, and then Mercer Law School in Macon, Georgia. After that I moved to New York City for a couple of years to be in the sports business, learned a lot, came back home to raise a family. And when I came back home, there was no other place I wanted to live but Roswell. Growing up here, I knew this is where I wanted my kid to be born and raised. And one day, I was hoping that he can come back and raise my grandchildren here. So that's the reason every day serving on council has been such an honor in my hometown. I look to the past, present, and future. Looking at the past, when I came in, we championed the Historic District Master Plan as soon as we came in. I knew that it was a bone of contention that there was nothing protecting our historic district. And so through a unanimous vote by Citizen Committee and also the City Council, we've had protection for our historic district to make sure it's protected for future generations. Present, we're coming out of a global pandemic. Many cities around us struggled. We actually held our own. Not only did we hold our own, we kept city services at a high level. Police, fire, trash, all those things you expect when you live in the city of Roswell. On top of that, we just passed the lowest millage rate since 1988 coming out of the pandemic. That's pretty strong. Looking to the future, last night we in council or in committee, we passed the first step, I believe. I don't think it's far enough. But we passed the first step in looking at the UDC, a comprehensive review of our Unified Development Code that we need to fix. It's been the most divisive document in our city since passed in 2014. It needs to be fixed. I prefer to start over, but I don't think I have the votes. So any help to make it better, I voted for it last night to pass it, to look at it comprehensively. In closing, I think that the experience I have over the last 4 years, I think it takes about 2 years to get to where you know what you're doing and know where everybody's going, because it's a tough job that's very complex. I'm there. I'm excited for the next 4 years. I think we can accomplish a lot, and I appreciate your vote. You can go vote today right over there. Matt Judy, Roswell City Council. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. So just a reminder on the rules on the questions. Lindsay Coates and I are going to kind of share duties on questions. I think she's going to start. There's going to be a 2-minute opportunity to respond. There's no rebuttal or anything. It's too early for that. Lindsay?
Turn this around so I can see it.
Sorry for the sun.
Yeah, the glare is real. Okay. All right, and we will start with Lee. We're gonna go with you. So Southern Skillet, Riverwalk, Old Target Shopping Center, or where Pickle and Social was supposed to be, and until recently the Wells Fargo building, there have been so many stalled projects in Roswell. This is after the completion of multiple studies that seem to get shelved after spending a great deal of money on them. How are you going to make sure that projects actually move forward?
The first thing I plan to do is buy a hard hat, because I will be on every single one of these project sites. I believe we've had a lack of strength and leadership for the last 4 years, and I am a dig in and go get them type of woman. I would like to see those plans kept on budget, on schedule. We are going to have to make an earnest consideration when we vote this time on whether or not to oppose and elect in or support T-Splosh 2, because it's going to bail out the misgivings of T-Splosh 1 from this current administration. To me, that's unacceptable. That's your money. That's your tax dollars, my tax dollars. I believe that we can do much better about that. I have an event planning and catering background. If I didn't pull off the event on game day, event day for a corporate event, for a corporate business or a wedding or a bat mitzvah, I didn't get paid. I don't understand why the city has a free pass to go over time frame and then incur additional charges. I find it absurd and insulting to residents. I also find that we have relaxed a lot of our rules. I don't find this to be an intimidating job for Lee Hills. I accept this as a challenge, and I take a lot of pride in our city and look forward to absolutely being present for making these decisions and asking questions when the timeline is coming current, and to see these things through. We are a laughing stock in our neighboring cities, and I refuse to have that be the mantra that I carry around as a Roswell resident, nor do I believe that you want that. We deserve better. We can do it. We have a beautiful, vibrant city. We do not need to look like Milton. We do not need to look like Alpharetta. We do not need to look like Woodstock. We look like Roswell. We are gorgeous. We have so much to offer, and we deserve to have our properties developed in a meaningful way, a timely manner, on budget. I look forward to having your vote, and I am absolutely going to be your next post-6 city councilwoman.
Thank you for that question. I think understanding what that question really means is very important. The properties, a lot of the properties you mentioned are not owned by the city of Roswell. They're owned by private industry, private developers, etc. How can we as a city help those developments go faster, be more successful, and get more of them to come is the question. Earlier this month, or sorry, a couple months ago, I brought in incentives. When pickleball came, we noticed there was not enough quivers in arrows in our quiver to have incentivized business in the city of Roswell. So we took a look, and we just brought an incentivization to bring jobs to the city of Roswell. Another thing is we need to streamline our business processes, our processes within City Hall. That's what our internal economic director will do with Roswell Inc. to make sure that the building processes don't get held up in City Hall in permitting. Because a lot of times that's where we get stuck. That leads to delays in these projects being built. The other third thing is we need to work with developers that have the wherewithal to get the job done. We need to attract those. We need to make sure we give them every chance at success. If that means waiving impact fees, streamlining the process, giving them everything we can do from a city's perspective to get the job done. As far as T-Splosh 2 goes, actually turning down $70 to $80 million for projects that we could do in the city of Roswell that we cannot do within our budget would be foolish, because that's game changing for us. So to think to turn down T-Splosh 2 would be a big mistake, because the other cities around us would get the money and we would not. So I'm at Judy. We need to streamline our processes and work better with the buildings, everybody that's working here in Roswell. Thank you.
So thank you to post-6 candidates, Matt Judy, the incumbent, and Lee Hills. Thanks, guys. So we're going to go backwards. So post-5 candidates.
All right. Some key T-Splosh 1 projects, like Oxbow realignment, have run significantly behind schedule and well over budget. Others, such as Big Creek Parkway, have been significantly altered since citizens voted for it in T-Splosh 1. T-Splosh 2 will be on the ballot this November. What is your position on it and why?
Thank you, Lindsay. So this was touched on a bit earlier during my introduction. So when it comes to T-Splosh and now the upcoming T-Splosh 2 on our ballot right now, I've viewed and watched the discussions in City Hall over the last recent number of months, not only on the dais on Monday nights for City Council, but also on committee meetings with Director Roth, Director of RDOT, the Roswell Department of Transportation. There's discussions, and I carefully listened to those discussions. And Council and Mayor made a decision to go ahead and do a prioritization in terms of what is on the top of the list. There was a lot of needful projects for our city. And then the outreach was done to go ahead and try to collect collect inputs from the residents of Roswell about how to go ahead and prioritize these very key projects. The list was long, and they're very, very important. Even though we're living in a society today where virtual living and shopping on the web is more and more available to us, but the roads and infrastructure still need to be in place, a high quality infrastructure. So it's on our ballot November 2nd, or you can vote as early as now. I'm in full support of this. It's very important. It is an estimated $70 million of money that can come out of this. And it's very important for our corridors to go ahead and, as I said earlier, to reduce gridlock and to increase the flow of traffic. So it's just something that not only do we owe it to our city today, but it'll help recruit businesses. It will stimulate our local economy, because folks will come in and be like, look at them, they're investing, they're growing. And with that comes economic stimulus. So thank you all.
Yesterday I voted yes for T-Spose 2, and the reason being is because I think the money will be used better to do all of the projects that we need. I really encourage everyone to just realize the youth. We're doing this for ourselves, and we're doing this for our families. It's going to increase traffic, and I think that by staying on budget, we can do a lot with this extra money that's needed for our city.
Thank you. And last one.
The T-SPLOST funds are very important. It's very important for our community to use these funds to the best and most accurate projects that they're intended. It's just like let me back up. T-SPLOST is a large investment. It's an investment into our community. And when you look at this investment, we all look to see what it's going to do for our future. The future that funds are coming through for, it's just like our households. When we have a budget, we have to stay on budget. If you're not on budget, we're in a lot of trouble. So what I would like to do is I'd like to be a fan of the T-SPLOST funds. T-SPLOST is important for Roswell. All the benefits, just like everybody has already said, is what we need to see happen for our future. So T-SPLOST is a good thing.
Awesome. Thank you. So as a reminder, these three wonderful people who are willing to serve are running for City Council, and Yolanda Freeman, Michael Del Cerro, and one more.
To receive both bike and walk-friendly designations, both bronze. However, walking and biking is still a challenge and outright dangerous in many places. What specific plans or ideas do you have or support to increase connectivity and make Roswell more walkable or bikeable?
Well, thank you. And real quickly, I want to thank Roswell Next for running one of the most efficient gatherings we've had yet so far. It's been terrific, so thank you. I live down on the Chattahoochee River in Inverness, near the Chattahoochee Nature Center, and we've just completed one of the most beautiful boardwalk projects. It's 10 to 12 feet across. It allows for bikes at a reasonable speed, strollers, walkability, jogging. It's a wonderful path. And that's really what I would like to see more around Roswell, is at least a 10-foot walkway system that could be shared. It's very difficult with a lot of roads the way that we have them designed currently to just create bikeways that are safe. I can tell you on Willio, right along that same way, we had to create the boardwalk because the bikeways weren't that safe right on the road. So walkability, we've got the wheel and spoke policy, the program that we're working off of, and we can continue to do that. But I do want to see those wider sidewalks that can be shared by everybody off the roads for safety's sake. The last thing I'd like to touch on real quickly is apartments in general, because that's been a conversation and I think it really is important to discuss. As a business person, I want to be very clear. East Roswell is is oversaturated with apartments, and business-wise, apartments don't make sense. In West Roswell, we have an opportunity to do mixed use properly. Mixed use includes a lot more commercial and a lot more retail than we're seeing right now, and I will push hard for that as we develop West Roswell and the Holcomb Bridge corridor. And in Groveway, where I was just the other day, that's an area we need to be more sensitive to the residents who live in those areas. And as we develop apartments there, they have to be affordable for those people to stay in their communities. So I'm Peter Vanstrom, and I'm running for City Council, and I can't wait to get started in January. Thank you so much.
Hi, everyone. Connectivity is extremely important. I think it is key to quality of life and also to business development. First of all, I want to talk a little bit about the people first, taking a people first approach to our transportation projects. That is something that I wholeheartedly would like to see us take just a completely different mindset going forward. I think we are moving in a positive direction with bike and pedestrian connectivity, especially with the bike ped master plan. And I will work to continue to implement that, which will bring wide sidewalks around the city and an entire network. So we have a plan in place. We need to fund it. We have processes in place where redevelopment will help us fund that as well. So looking forward to seeing that continue. And again, I think just taking a people-first approach to all of our transportation projects, where we're paying attention to how their scale is impacted, landscaping, aesthetics, how the entire experience can contribute to our quality of life. Second, connectivity. I think connectivity is extremely important across the city, particularly in opening up East Roswell to be a place for new business, for revitalization, for restaurants, for retail. In the discussion of redoing the Holcomb Bridge interchange and the north and south bridges, bike and pedestrian connectivity are an important part of that. And also in T+2, linking areas in East Roswell to the river and making that much more accessible over to Riverside, to the historic gateway. I think as long as we can keep things moving, keep the energy moving around the city, that's going to be the key to revitalization. That's going to be the key to bringing destinations and small new businesses to East Roswell, as well as the entire city of Roswell, and continuing to make it just an exceptional place to live, work, play, and walk and bike. Thank you.
Thanks, Marie. So just a reminder, post for candidates, Marie Wilsey's your incumbent, and Peter Vanstrom. Thanks, guys. Last but not least.
Absolutely, thank you. In your opinion, tell us one specific area where Roswell is a leader regionally, and one area you think Roswell is failing or falling behind compared to our neighbors.
All right, Mayor Henry.
Thank you, Vanna. Well, let me just say this. I think that we are excelling regionally in our relationships. It's our relationships with our neighboring cities. It's our relationships with GDOT. It's our relationships at a state level. And that is what I firmly believe in. I've said from the very beginning that the mayor is the face of the city of Roswell. It is the mayor's responsibility to build those teams with our neighboring cities. And let me just also say this. We had a huge coup not too long ago. Fulton County was only going to distribute $300,000 in COVID money to the city. And because of the mayors in Fulton County, we all got together, we pushed that envelope, and we ended up with more than $3 million. So those are the relationships, those are the communication levels that we need to have. It's very, very, very important. One thing I would also like to say is our neighboring cities want to be us. Our neighboring cities are building community centers. They're trying to build downtowns. We grew organically. We have a square. We have a history of over 160 years. They want to be us. And I would caution everyone to remember that while some cities are new and shiny, We are old and authentic, and just remember, they want to be us.
Thanks, Larry. And Kurt Wilson.
Well, the first thing that came to mind is obviously every one of us as a candidate is way behind because we don't have a candy bar. This is very cool, Michael. I'm very jealous. And you're way ahead on that. I guess the thing that I would give, kind of a little bit out of the box, is that I think we have a great police chief, and I think we have a great police force. I think Roswell's police force is exceptional, and we have exceptional leadership under our current police chief. Which gives me a quick segue, is it's time for us as a city to pay our police officers best in class. We have had a history in our city of kind of being behind on pay and then kind of catching up, and then the other cities raise their pay, and we kind of stay a little bit behind. And I was so strategically, I think for long-term purposes, we need to correct that as a city and make sure that we pay our police officers best in class for all neighboring cities, period, end of story. The second thing, I mentioned this the other night. In 2010, we removed the pension, replaced it with the 457. It sounded like it's strategically wise, and if you're in corporate America, it makes sense. But in terms of what it did to our police officers, we lost some retention and recruitment possibilities. That's important from a long-term perspective. Third thing I'd say about the police is it's important for us to create real incentives to have our police officers come and live amongst us as fellow citizens. The fourth thing is, right over here, this is not a very popular idea, but it's one I believe in as a citizen. We closed down our jail in 2016. It's time for us to reopen it. I think it's a matter of public safety. But the main thing I will tell you is, and I think it's something that we all know and feel, I got 25 seconds, is that stagnation has become real in our city. And the one thing that we're going to change is we're going to create economic vibrancy with a long-term goal in mind of this not being a 200,000 person town in 20 years, but being 110 to 120,000 people that's economically viable and is the crown of North Fulton, it's a jewel of North Fulton County like it was in the past. This will become the #1 family community in America.
Thanks, Kurt. And last, just now.
Well, a leading citizen has said on more than one occasion that Roswell won the geography lottery. We've got the topography, we've got the history, we've got the strategic location in the metropolitan area to really be the #1 place in North Fulton. We used to be the aspirational city. We aren't anymore. We're not taking advantage of our natural attributes. Our river has been neglected. It needs to be restored. It needs economic activity. It cannot just be a walking path. It needs more than that. And I have advocated for creating not just the linear park, but the economic activity that can occur on the other side of the street. The city has been pretty active in inhibiting economic activity in the river corridor. Any world-class linear park, look at the High Line in New York, the Belt Line in downtown Atlanta, Venice Beach in California, they all have a lot more than just a pathway next to a pretty place. It's commercial and residential development adjacent to it. We have opportunities that we're missing, and we're not making the most of what we have. One thing that would bring more people here is higher visibility in the film and TV industry. We've got these historic houses that don't allow filming inside. People will come to the cities that they've seen featured in the movies and TV. If you don't have them inside those houses, when we have that opportunity, you're missing a tremendous opportunity, because tourism is a future growth industry for the city of Roswell. Thank you.
Thanks, Jason. So just a reminder, your mayoral candidates, incumbent Mayor Lori Henry, Kurt Wilson, and Jason Young. That concludes the program, and it's 9:01, so we That was the biggest stressful and is trying to get all this in an hour and get everybody able to get off to work. So thank you to the candidates. One, just for running, because most of us in this room are not going to, because it's a thankless job. So we appreciate you all doing it. Thank you for sticking to the time. Thank you for being positive and polite and civil. We really pride ourselves on our events being that way, so we appreciate everyone's cooperation. Roswell Next Board, Lindsay, everybody, Adam, Michael, Mark, Stephanie, whoever, my timekeeper. Thank you. And if this is your first event, please come back. We'll have a breakfast in November and December, and we have a night event. So check out the website. It's always posted on our Facebook. Well, it's usually posted on our Facebook page if somebody gets to it. Remember, we're an all-volunteer organization. So thank you for your support, everyone, and have a great day. And vote. Please vote. Please vote. Please vote.